it's very hard to decide how the laws apply. And that's why I think you'll see many organizations, Ripple and many others, Coin Center is another, lobbying regulators not so much to change the law, but to clarify it, like to tell us what it is that we need to do so that someone doesn't come down 2 years later and say, hey, what you were doing completely in the open and completely transparently for the last 4 years was illegal from day one, and you should have known that. And we're like, we meet with you like every week about what we're doing, and now you're telling us we should have realized 4 years ago that it was fundamentally and completely illegal? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And so
create this program called Lend, where they would pay interest on the assets, or I won't use the word asset. They pay interest on the currency that you keep in Lend. But the Securities and Exchange Commission is saying you can't go there because it becomes a security. I'm a bit confused. Can you help us understand it?
We wish we all knew, I guess. But yes, Coinbase is planning to launch a product they call Lend, which was announced back in the spring, whereby they'll pay investors interest if they allow Coinbase to lend out their USD coin, the stable coin balances being held in their Coinbase account. Now, the SEC has said, no, that type of transaction then makes that a security, presumably under some concept of essentially this is like lending out securities for for use for margin.
Right.
But they have not, and Coinbase has been clear about this, they have not detailed to Coinbase or made public to anyone what their rationale is exactly for determining that this product now qualifies as a security. And in fact, many other exchanges, unregulated, less regulated exchanges than Coinbase already offer products very similar to this. So it's not clear really why Coinbase is specifically being targeted, for this specific product at this time. It seems like they are apparently being made a bit of an example of in this case.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, please like and subscribe if you do like what you're listening to. Inform your friends and family and spread all over social media. It is imperative that we get back to learning finances and understand how the world really works, because once we understand how the world really works, we understand that it is all planned out. Now, I want to thank those who purchased the books Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book. The New World Order book is going to show you how the world really works. And it's definitely time for you to wake up out of that sleep, especially in the times that we're in right now. I told you at the beginning of the year, in the first quarter of 2022, we was going to have an event that was going to bring us down. And then also in the fourth quarter, we would have an event that would bring us down. That's exactly what happened. And now I'm going to tell you, in the first quarter, we're going to have an event that's going to bring us down in 2023. And then also in the fourth quarter of 2023, we're going to have another main event. Now, of course, guys, the markets are still going to be pumping and dumping until they get ready to pull the full rug. But I'll let you know when that's about to happen. Now, also, I want to thank those who purchased the 3 Kids books. It's time to get re-educated. And also, much love to those who donate to the Cash Shop and Patreon. And in my Patreon, I keep you up to date with the New World Order events. Also, I give you the New World Order cryptos in the Patreon. Of course, you have to do your own research. But this next bull run is going to be a utility run. So you want to make sure that you have the cryptos that have utility. And much love to those who are shopping at both stores. Keep it coming. And of course, guys, we get into Bitcoin and cryptos first.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And I want to thank everyone who gave my son a shout out yesterday. It was his birthday. And much love to those who cash apped him. And then also found out that Michael Saylor's birthday was yesterday, and I did a video on him yesterday. But guys, as I'm doing this video, we have Bitcoin and cryptos pulling back. We know CME opens tonight. And when we look at CME, Bitcoin, and Ethereum's volume, it is low. And also, open interest is flat except for micro Bitcoin futures. As we can see, it took a big bounce up. But guys, do not forget to pay attention to the actual indicators. We have yield rates, which were slightly up on Friday. And then also we had the dollar also up. When we saw that big pullback as Jerome Powell was speaking, and that's what gave the markets a big pump. And then also, guys, we have volume, tether, USDC, and then, of course, we have the Fed. Repo still over $2 trillion. Of course, the central banks raise rates and running off the balance sheet. And we know their goal, and that's to destroy this legacy market so then therefore they can give the fourth industrial revolution rise. And who's leading the fourth industrial revolution? Correct, the emerging markets, the BRICS nations. So it's going to be the fall of America to Babylon along with the United States World Reserve Currency, the rise of the emerging markets, the BRICS nations, led by China the Dragon and the digital yuan backed by that digital SDR. And remember, the Cryptoteacher wrote about it a long time ago because, guys, this was planned out a long time ago. Please go watch my Anthony Sutton videos. Yes, we have a lot of evil in history, but we also have a lot of smart people who did research trying to call out the evil. Of course, they get drowned out by the evil message because who controls your media? But if you go research and find the truth, remember, the Cryptoteacher gives you the truth, nothing but the truth. Yes, the truth hurts, but it sets you free. And remember, guys, my people perish from the lack of knowledge, not because it's not there, because they reject it. And we know when we go tell people the truth, we try to give them knowledge, they reject it. Even though it's right there in front of their face, they don't want to accept it. And we know the Most High is going to reject them. And we've seen this plenty of time in history. Now we see the NWO is putting a lot of distractions out there. So we know the magic trick is about to get pulled off. And we know 3 and 7 are very important numbers to the NWO. So we're 3 years away from the last event. Plus, we're coming off a Shemitah year. And we are seeing they are stepping up the Hegelian dialectic. We know the Republicans have taken over the House. And we know the Hegelian dialectic is undefeated. Divide and conquer, so therefore you can move the agenda forward without the masses understanding the agenda. And it's the fourth industrial revolution, where the robots, algorithms, and drones take over the economy, pay each other with crypto, and the sheep go inside the metaverse. Get that free money, that universal basic income airdrop to them. They have 3 to 6 months to spend it, or poof, is gone. No more savings. And then while they're in the metaverse, they're being downloaded. And remember, the Cryptoteacher told you that the masses will be controlled just like a remote. Yes, it sounds like a movie, but remember, your life is an illusion, and TV is your reality. And guys, make sure you're paying attention to Janet Yellen. Remember, she's no longer funding these federal retirement accounts. She's putting that liquidity inside the market. We know Janet Yellen and Gary Gensler are chess pieces to get us over to this digital transformation. Now, we have the Bank of England says they should have a digital pound by 2030. And guys, we know we always heard this 2030, 2030. Do not forget the 2030 agenda, but that has definitely been moved up. We know they want a cashless society, no more privacy. Now, guys, don't forget about Grayscale sitting at about $20.4 billion on Friday. But guys, getting over into a little crypto news, we have A16Z and Andreessen, my guy, votes against proposal to deploy latest Uniswap integration on BNB chain. And guys, it looks like Binance is going to be the next movie. So get your popcorn, sit back, and let it play out. Now we have Starkware announced plans to open source its proprietary Starknet Prover under the Apache 2.0 license. And we know the second layer scalability of Ethereum is very important. And don't forget, one of the founders of Starkware is also one of the founders of Zcash. And Starkware is located where? That's right, Israel. Now we have Google Cloud reportedly invested $300 million into AI startup firm Anthropic, which received $500 million from the FTX bankman. And we see all in your controlled media the AI push, and we know that is for the fourth industrial revolution. But we know these big corporations were invested 10 to 12 years ago in artificial intelligence. Now it's time to bring it. But remember, guys, the NWO moves in phases. And lastly, guys, speaking of the NWO moves in phases, going through the timeline, we had Jay Clayton bringing the SEC lawsuit against Ripple. Now, guys, this was back in December of 2020, and it is now February of 2023. So we can clearly see the SEC was using this case to push the regulation can down the road. We know it doesn't take this long in order to come to judgment on an event that happened years ago, and then plus, Ripple had been fined a long time ago. They had plenty of time to come in and correct any wrongs that were going on inside of Ripple, the company. And then going along the timeline, we had Silvergate, which is coming up a lot, cut ties with Binance back in June of 2021. And then we had the SEC warn Coinbase about their lend program in September of 2021. And we know they did not do it. So back in September of 2021, before the Fed started raising rates, the SEC could have clearly went to Voyager, went to Celsius, all these other companies, and then also on top of that, warned investors, do not touch this any longer. But that didn't happen. They allowed the string to pull, and we just slowly saw a collapse going on in the crypto industry. But at the same time, crypto is taking a 60 and 70% hit. We saw stocks taking that same hit, and that was all due to the Fed shrinking liquidity. But the SEC had plenty of time to warn investors the same way they warned Coinbase and the same way I warned you. I told you what was going to happen before the beginning of the year, because clearly Jerome Powell stated that they were going to start tightening. And once you started tightening, that's going to shrink liquidity, which is going to shrink assets. It's common sense. So we know for a fact that these CEOs and CFOs of these crypto companies knew also, but it was all part of a bigger plan. And we could see that with FTX and the bankman. None of these corporations came out with an outcry. You don't hear anything from any other countries, which 95% of FTX business was outside the United States. And they're not asking for their money back. They're just saying, hey, we're going to write it off. There's no way that BlackRock wouldn't have known that something fishy was going on with FTX. It is impossible. And not just BlackRock. You had Sequoia. You had SoftBank. These are some of the biggest corporations. And then on top of it, they were flying out to go see the bankman. But we know anytime that we constantly see something on CNBC, something's not right. The control media is trying to force a picture on you. But when I first started my YouTube channel, one of the first few videos I did was on Andreessen, my guy. And what company is he attached to? That's right, Coinbase. And remember, guys, the Fed is going to set up a distraction because they're not going to tell you that they took your money. And then speaking of the Fed, back in September of 2021, Again on the timeline, the Fed officials said they were going to sell their stocks to avoid conflict of interest. And guys, what was going on in September of 2001? That's right, the top of the stock market. So what they did was they set up an illusion that they was doing what was right, so therefore they could sell and get out before the market started tanking. And we know the Fed are the master magicians. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. But guys, all I have for you, don't forget about the books, Crypto Teacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming, while everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks, and while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.